Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including the new Model Y selling out, Tesla's rough quarter, Elon's master plan part 3, and the Tesla stock split, so let's get into it. First up today, a big change that Tesla made to their autopilot system came a little over a year ago with the removal of radar sensors. They shifted their Model 3s and Ys from that point forward in North America to what they call Tesla Vision, and followed with the Model S and X in February of 2022. This still brings one limitation, lowering the top speed of autopilot by 5 miles per hour, and some have reported increased phantom braking as a result of this newer system. But Elon Musk said of this system on the 2021 earnings call that, quote, "When your vision works, it works better than the best human because it's like having 8 cameras. It's like having eyes in the back of your head, beside your head, and has 3 eyes of different focal distances looking forward. This is, and processing it at a speed that is superhuman. There's no question in my mind that with a pure vision solution, we can make a car that is dramatically safer than the average person." There have actually been recent leaks from Tesla that show that they may actually be adding a new higher resolution radar sensor to their cars in the future, but for now they're all in on Tesla Vision, utilizing the cameras and neural net processing to deliver autopilot features. The rollout of this change hasn't been entirely across the board, as they ship cars from different factories in different markets, but now they are shifting to Tesla Vision in Australia and New Zealand. This applies for vehicles built from June 2022 on, and they said, quote, "We are continuing the transition to Tesla Vision, our camera-based autopilot system. Model 3 and Model Y vehicles built from June 2022 for the Australian market now utilize our camera-based Tesla Vision, which relies on Tesla's advanced suite of cameras and neural net processing to deliver autopilot and related features. Similar to other markets, for now, AutoSteer max speed will be limited, along with the following distance minimum. They have transitioned in the US, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the Middle East, and now Australia and New Zealand. This transition is a gradual transition because it involves a very important safety feature in Tesla vehicles, and hopefully soon enough it will be updated to match the full functionality of autopilot with radar. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in the future though, given Tesla's recent radar filings with the FCC. Next up today, this past week, Tesla launched the Model Y in new markets. They have already shipped the right-hand drive version of this car with deliveries in the UK and a few other markets happening in February of this year. Within a month, it became the best-selling electric car in the UK, as we see happen in many markets where this car launches. Just a few days ago, Tesla launched the Model Y in Australia by officially opening up orders on their Australian website. First deliveries are planned for August to November of this year, and the rear-wheel drive model starts at $68,900 Australian dollars, which roughly translates to $48,000 US dollars. Demand for the Model Y in Australia was so high that it even shocked Elon Musk. New orders for the Model Y after just 3 days in Australia are already showing delivery dates of February to May of 2023. So it is already sold out for 2022 just days after launching. In response to this demand, Elon Musk tweeted saying, quote, "We're working on accelerating right-hand drive Model Y production. Didn't expect demand to be so high." The Model 3 has already been very successful in Australia, and soon enough the Model Y will likely pass it in demand. There's just something about this car specifically that everyone loves, and Elon Musk was right about it. While he didn't seem to be super enthusiastic about the Model Y initially, since it was so similar to the Model 3, he did say that, quote, "I think it's quite likely to. This is just my opinion, but I think it will outsell S, X, and 3 combined." They seem to be on track for that, and each time they open this car to new markets, it proves this more and more. Next up today, we can clearly see that Tesla doesn't have a demand problem. Production is the real problem, and the last couple years have been rough on all car companies. For Tesla, they have opened 2 new factories this year, but each of those are clearly still in the scaling process. Giga Berlin is now producing about 1,000 vehicles per week, which is great, but nowhere near where they are at their other factories. Over at Giga Shanghai, they produce around 2,600 EVs per day, and that is only expected to keep increasing once that factory is back to 100% operations. Over in Fremont, Elon said last week that, quote, "I'd like to congratulate the Fremont team for achieving an all-time record production day last week. Even after that factory has been open for a while, they are continuing to scale there and produce more and more cars each day. This is still their main North American factory and will continue to be for some time. At Giga Texas, deliveries are still extremely slow, so it will likely be some time before they reach the Giga Berlin numbers we're seeing. 5 days ago, the first customer delivery of a Model Y standard range with 4680 cells out of Giga Texas was reported. We have yet to see any other deliveries since, at least reported online, and the biggest delay here is likely the new battery architecture they're shipping cars with. Hopefully soon that factory can be fully operational because it will significantly help with their production catching up on demand. Right now, if you order a Model Y with stock wheels, you're looking at up to a year wait in the US, so Giga Texas should help out a lot with this. While Tesla's demand is high and they're selling out in new markets after 3 days, their factories have only been slightly more productive this quarter. Overall, in fact, their production has gone down because of the shutdown of Giga Shanghai for around 3 weeks. This was 3 weeks of no production and then a couple weeks of ramping up back to full shifts and full production. It will be a significant hit to their quarterly deliveries, which have been hitting records like clockwork for the past few quarters. Regarding this, in a leaked email to Tesla employees, Elon Musk said, quote, "This has been a very tough quarter, primarily due to supply chain and production challenges in China, so we need to rally hard to recover." He previously said, quote, "This has been a challenge since late 2008. There always seems to be something that happens and causes the end of the quarter to be nutty, and this quarter will not be an exception, mostly because we had this huge challenge with the restrictions in Shanghai. It basically shut down the Shanghai factory for much of the early part of the quarter. It is only now getting back to full production. It will be pretty intense this quarter." For Elon Musk, he's always looking at the long view. The short quarterly view and rallying is caused by the necessity to deliver impressive quarterly numbers to investors, shareholders, and more, but he has said in the past that, quote, "What has happened historically is that we sprint like crazy at end of quarter to maximize deliveries, but then deliveries drop massively in the first few weeks of the next quarter. In effect, looked at over a 6-month period, we won't have delivered any extra cars." This effect is happening again and will cause a crazy June for Tesla. The shutdowns and relatively slow scaling at new factories will lead to a quarterly delivery number that could be less, but overall this isn't bad news. It's easy to look at Elon calling this a tough quarter and worry about Tesla's future, but throughout this year they'll only be increasing their scaling and catching up on the demand that keeps growing each day. They still have massive advantages when it comes to battery supply, and that will prove out more and more in the coming years. Elon is still very happy with how Tesla is doing and said so in another leaked email. He said, quote, "We actually build great, real products that people love and make their lives and the world better. That is so profound. It is an honest day's work that you can feel in your heart. Whatever else is going on in this messed up world, know that at least what you are doing is pure goodness and that I have infinitely more respect and admiration for you than the richest person on Wall Street." Great to see that view in the midst of a tough quarter people will likely focus on most. Next up today, speaking of Tesla's demand, Elon Musk has been teasing his master plan part 3 for some time now. His master plans are what lay out the long-term plans for Tesla. His first master plan laid out their plan to make the Roadster, the Model S, then the Model 3, and provide zero-emissions power generation options. They have done all of this plan, although the word affordable is still in question. Master Plan Part 2 involved solar roofs, expanding the EV product line to all major segments, making self-driving that is 10 times safer than manual, and enabling your car to make money for you via a robo-taxi. Most of this plan is still very much in the works, but this week, at Tesla's company-wide meeting, Elon gave an update as to what Part 3 will include. All about scaling. He said, quote, "Master Plan Part 3 is all about achieving very large scale. In order to shift the entire energy infrastructure and transport infrastructure of Earth, there has to be a very high scale. We have to ask what is the actual tonnage. If we work backward from, let's say, about 300 terawatt hours of installed capacity in vehicles and stationary battery packs, then how do you achieve that tonnage from a mining and refining standpoint, but also do so in a sustainable way? That's what Master Plan Part 3 is. How do you get to enough scale to actually shift the entire energy infrastructure of Earth?" That's a huge goal for Tesla, but definitely makes sense for Elon Musk's view of Tesla. Their goal is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, and by most accounts, they've actually already succeeded there. Most other electric cars we see coming to market are a direct response to Tesla's success. Their mission statement may actually need an update when this master plan releases. Maybe it will be something like assist in converting the world's entire energy infrastructure to sustainable options. Something worded much better than that, but in that realm. There could be a lot in this master plan that involves the robotaxi, the $25,000 EV, full self-driving, and more, but we'll have to see when it's officially released. Next up today, Tesla has officially announced that they will be putting a 3-for-1 stock split up for shareholder vote at its upcoming shareholder meeting. They said, quote, "The primary purpose of the authorized shares amendment is to facilitate a 3-for-1 split of our common stock in the form of a stock dividend." Regarding the employee and investor purpose for this split, it comes in 2 forms. Tesla said, "Unlike other manufacturers, we offer every employee the option of receiving building equity. Since our stock split in August 2020 to June 6, 2022, our stock price has risen 43.5%. While this value appreciation has led to our employees benefiting enormously through the years, we want to make sure all employees, no matter when they join, have access to the same advantages. We believe the stock split would help reset the market price of our common stock so that our employees will have more flexibility in managing their equity, all of which, in our view, may help maximize shareholder value. In addition, as retail investors have expressed a high level of interest in investing in our stock, we believe the stock split will also make our common stock more accessible to our retail shareholders. A stock split in the past has affected the share price, which investors will surely be happy about if it's in the positive direction, but at the end of the day, a stock split can allow more people to buy into Tesla at a lower entry price. Many have been expecting Tesla to do this for a long time, as their last stock split occurred in 2020 when the stock was about $1,300 per share. That was a 5-to-1 split. The 2022 shareholder meeting is taking place on August 4th, so we'll get the final vote and the details of the finalization of the stock split on that day. Next up today, a couple updates about Tesla's future expansion. One of the biggest advantages Tesla has as an electric car maker is their Supercharger network. This gives Teslas a very reliable charging network for road trips that other EVs don't have access to in most markets. Tesla is rapidly expanding their charging network, and they update their Tesla Charging Twitter account with each new station. Every few days, they post about a variety of new stations, but this week in China, they posted about a new supercharger, which happens to be the 35,000th supercharger in the world. Now keep in mind this is 35,000 charging stalls, not stations, but it's still a huge milestone. They show the progress of their charging network with the graphic that they posted. The first ever supercharger that they put up was in September of 2012. They hit 10,000 chargers in June of 2018, 20,000 in November of 2020, 30,000 in November of 2021, and 35,000 in June of 2022. Based on the trajectory of this graphic, we could definitely see them hit 40,000 charging stalls this year, and that's incredible expansion that is necessary more and more as Tesla's demand keeps growing. No other automaker has a network anywhere close to this, and it will be very interesting to see how long this remains a massive advantage for Tesla, or when they will eventually open this network to other EVs. One big factor for supercharger congestion has to do with charging speeds. Tesla's V3 superchargers get speeds up to 250 kilowatts, but those speeds are only achieved in the right conditions and battery percentage. Going forward, faster charging will help with this, and Tesla has talked about charging speeds over 250 kilowatts on the Cybertruck. Elon even joked about 350 kilowatts being slow. Still, Tesla's vehicles top out at 250 kilowatts, while other brands are actually shipping EVs that can handle faster. But now that Tesla is shipping their 4680 cells, the question is, how will those affect charging times? The first customer 4680 Model Y delivery occurred in Texas last week, and the owner has been doing some testing. When they went to a V3 supercharger, they noted that the car peaked at 227 kilowatts, far better than Tesla's current standard range cars, but lower than a 250 kilowatt max they allow on long range cars right now. Overall, he started at 9% and got up to 20% in 3 minutes, up to 39% in 6 minutes, and 80% in 34 minutes total. Getting up to 80% in that time is pretty decent, but overall that charging rate isn't much better than what Tesla has shipped so far. From 9 to 97% took 50 minutes. When Tesla first launched the Model 3 with 2170 cells, which were new at the time, it took a bit for them to increase charging speeds with software updates. In the future, the 4680 Model Y could improve on these speeds with updates, but we'll have to wait and see. For now, at least it appears to be an improvement over standard range packs thus far, and it seems that the usable capacity of this pack is around 67 kilowatt hours based on this charge. Last up today, a couple updates about other EV makers. Ford has now been spotted benchmarking the Plaid Model S. This is standard practice in the car industry, but recently we have seen more benchmarking of Teslas from major companies like Ford and GM. We're seeing it more and more because companies can't ignore Tesla any longer. Their cars are delivering on range and specs, and the Plaid they are testing comes in at the quickest production car ever. Over at GM, Cadillac has teased their next electric car to come after the Lyriq, which is supposed to launch this year. The Cadillac Celestiq is supposed to be Cadillac's flagship vehicle, and they said, quote, "Today, Cadillac shares a glimpse of the Celestiq show car, which represents the purest expression of Cadillac design, technology, and performance. From first approach, the striking silhouette of the Celestiq show car leaves a lasting impression, challenging the ultra-luxury space with the spirit of futurism and the avant-garde." Teaser photos hint at some pretty specific design with impressive manufacturing, but overall don't reveal much at all. Previous leaks of this car actually said that it would feature a smart glass roof. For this, GM said, quote, "Celestique's roof is expected to be one of the first to feature a 4-quadrant suspended particle device smart glass. With this smart glass, each occupant of the vehicle can set their own level of roof transparency. The individualized experience shared by each occupant will be a signature aspect of the Cadillac Celestique." They showed a teaser video and photo of this roof, which is still very hidden. The timeline is unclear, and this concept could surely change before it actually gets released with full photos, but GM originally said it would come by 2025. As always, it's great to see more EVs from other automakers. For Rivian, one interesting update is that they have delayed R1S orders, but are giving certain customers the option to get their R1T order early. In an email to R1S reservation holders, Rivian said, quote, "Over the next 2 weeks, we'll share delivery windows with R1S customers who have updated delivery timing in 2022 or who previously had windows in 2022 that will be shifting later. For all other pre-order holders, expect updates on your delivery timing throughout the end of summer." For the R1T, many saw their delivery date move up, including myself. My R1T order said late 2023, so it wasn't even on my mind, and now it says December 2022 to January 2023. Really hoping that that actually sticks, but Rivian is now inviting certain customers to buy from inventory as well. The invite-only R1T shop is now open and will allow customers to take delivery in 6 to 8 weeks or sooner, assuming they find one that fits what they want. Some who have received these invites saw as many as 16 R1Ts available, but also noted that you only have a 1-week window to decide if you want to buy from the R1T shop or wait for your original configuration. Exciting to see those trucks becoming more available. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see my full review of the 2022 Lucid Air, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.